the thing that most teams do very incorrectly is they come in, they try to change up their style, they try to make a different approach. And in some cases, especially for a team of this kind of caliber, they come in and they try to beat Renegades, anti-strat them, and really just bring it. I think a lot of the time, what Downfall did is the best approach. You play your game. I hate that. I really hate that expression, but you play your game. And I don't mean that in the typical excuse for any sort of an explanation on what they were doing. But you come in, you use your strats, your approach to the map, the way you would do it against most opponents, your defaults. You run with what you know. And when you do that, you're probably going to lose the game. But you're at least going to learn so much, because when you're against a team like Renegades, they will show you every single problem, every crack in your defense, and every problem with your attack. They will exploit. And that is where you can then sit back and say, oh, we need to fix this. And then the next time you face them, maybe you do the same thing. And eventually you're going to become a much, much better team. And that's where these games are even more valuable than scrims, because when you come into them, once you start to win rounds, your opponents will no longer be playing the loose style. Or, for example, when they come into scrims, there's a lot of teams that will come in with the objective of learning one thing, trying out a new strat and seeing what the problems are with it when there's enemies on the server. And really, you need to be in a position where you're getting more out of your opponents than that, where you're getting to learn and not just see good players pugging, because at that point you could just 5-stack a high level pug game and run your strats. So I think Downfall did the right thing, and I imagine they've learned a lot from that experience. I don't think it will translate right now, but it's something that after the tournament they can definitely spend a lot of time going back over those maps. Mirage Inferno, if I remember correctly. Was it? It was
correct.
Was it? Okay. Yeah, they can go back over those maps and probably improve substantially based on what they've got there.
Well, that's the thing with these opportunities, is that from Mako's perspective, they went in knowing that Renegades would quickly find all the flaws in their game. And Renegades are a team that will punish you. And once they find those flaws, they'll keep punishing you. And that's the thing for Mako, was that they were getting away with some things that weren't being punished by Paradox. So we will probably see Downfall try and take that same approach that they took against Renegades. It was slow, it was measured, and it was very fluid. But Renegades quickly found all the holes in that and were able to just make the adjustments. They didn't need to do anything special. They just played a more concentrated game on exploiting and punishing everything that Downfall did. Mako, the question will be whether or not Downfall can punish them in a similar fashion, because it's one of those things, you pass on the lessons that you learn to other teams in the region. So right now, Renegades are passing on all of their wisdom, not necessarily directly, but through their gameplay and the way that they're punishing these teams. And that has a knock-on effect.
Yeah, that's why they definitely rather play at the top level, still be playing internationally, just so they don't have to sort of bring up the level of their national scene and make it harder for themselves to pick up those bigger events as they go along, even when it comes down to scrimming. But that's the world we live in right now. We're locked in, and I feel like this will probably affect Renegades in the long run, just because naturally their level has to be dropping. Like, when you're not playing against the best teams in the world, and they're getting to scrim against each other and prac and play these smaller tournaments or bigger tournaments, it's definitely going to have some knock-on effects, because everyone else is still managing to keep up that training and you're not. And I feel bad for them in that regard, but it'll be really interesting once everything is lifted to see them get back to the international stage and see if they can pick up where they left off, or if they're going to have a little bit more time to get back to that spot. But we're obviously having a little bit of delay. I'm guessing it's a technical delay for one of the players. But on the upside, Jim, here we are. We're in Overpass, and this is something new to me. This is my favorite map in the pool, so I'm very happy to feature inside of it.
Yeah, look, it's great to be rolled out as part of the furniture on Overpass. There's a few cool little features here and there, but I didn't actually see myself in a road case, or on top of a road case, casting some Oceanic Counter-Strike. But yeah, look, I think from what we've had the opportunity to talk to Downfall, they're very level-headed. They're very very much about maximizing the opportunities in this competition. From Mako's perspective, they were again of similar attitude, but they were both. These teams are both very fresh teams. They're fresh in obviously their makeup. They haven't got a lot of results together, but I think also too they've quite recently been able to set their goals and what they want to achieve. So I think that's going to have a positive flow on effect. Like I said, do you feel as though this one's going to go to all three maps based on what we know about this veto?
Uh, I think it's really rough to call in general. I don't know what we're gonna see from Downfall when it comes to Overpass. I really that's the kind of question mark above the head of that team. Can they play this map? Are they going to be comfortable on it? Mirage, I think, is going to be a very close one. I don't think Mako or Downfall are really favored on that. We're looking at a very tight game in that respect. And if look, the reality is Inferno is a great decider for any game. It is the third map decider, so I imagine we'll make it there. But it all comes down to whether Downfall can play this game or not, because it's going to be very rough for them if they lose this, especially kind of convincingly, to then move on to the next map and deliver a convincing performance themselves. Because I think Mako have a decent chance of taking Mirage, but I don't know if Downfall have a decent chance of taking Overpass.
Well, I think the cool thing is we're going to get that matchup between the two AWPers in K Star and 2D. When they go head to head on this map, this is Overpass. This is the arena for it. Obviously, that's a few rounds away just yet. As we do get underway here in this elimination match, one of these teams will be going home. The other one will be staying home and progressing in the bracket. So Mako versus Downfall here at Perfect World Oceania.
We're ready to rumble. We're ready to go. This is going to be a real tell to look at how Downfall play over on the CT side and figure out if they're comfortable in their skin or if this is going to be another learning experience for them. Mako have looked solid from time to time. They started out the tournament by being bodied by Chiefs, but up against Paradox, they looked a whole lot better. Now we get to see what they can do against Downfall, a team that showed so much promise versus Renegades and have already come in with the opening duel, shutting it down towards B. But Moop's all alone, and we've seen him overextend before. On Inferno, excuse me, it felt like he was constantly swinging out wide on mid. I called him the lunatic, and we'll see if he's going to be bringing any lunacy to this game, backing off after the flash. He kind of has to concede site control at this point. Missy, I thought he was going to go through that smoke, but he makes the wise decision, and they're going to play for the retake.
There was a moment of hesitation, wasn't there? As Moop now takes that first duel, they are sitting on the haunches of this site. They're going to have to fight this one out. CTs are there, ready for the retake. Zilla pushes through. Zert's also in tow. Naya just mowing through the CTs, blocks at close range. It's just Licky left. And what can he do in this 1 versus 3? Zilla is just a whisper away from being taken down, but they're all going to try and face him at once here. Licky's just trying to isolate those duels, and it is just a deadly dance around these boxes. And I think he's just been given the orders to concede. He does have some armor, smoke, and a kit, which could be valuable for them in the next round, but that is a good start from Mako. They grouped up. They knew that the CTs were in the site, so they didn't have any info, and they were able to take territory and then just explode onto that site with a single smoke.
Some decent stuff retrieved by Licky, but yeah, that was a very convincing retake, or post plant, excuse me. Not a very convincing retake for Downfall.
Ooh.
They just got absolutely shredded. Look at these Glocks up close. Does so much damage. Zertz is even hitting his teammate. Why not? They can afford to. And really, I like, you notice these small things about players that they do that I don't, and that most people don't. Licky in that position, he didn't get anything, but he goes up, wide swings on the site, and immediately backs off. He knows there's a player over towards Optimus, and he's just trying to bait him into that peak. I presume, do you guys call it Optimus as well, Jim? Truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's either truck or Optimus. Honestly, whatever can be said in the least amount of syllables.
Yeah. Because that's, I always wonder when I make a call like that's party, obviously. I don't know what it is in Australia, because I noticed the other day what I would just call roof, you guys call diggity. And I remember when I was coming up in Counter-Strike, we just had this thing. I think it was after Sponge would have done one of the either an interview or a cast where it was just diggity on Inferno, and everywhere was called diggity. It's just every single position.
Well, it's the easiest call to make out because it's so unique. But there's an interesting story behind that, and I guess more Australians would probably know it than anything else. But even then, it's only the old school ones, as we see. Bit of a cleanup here coming through on the pistols. But the funny story is, on the older versions of Inferno, there used to be a box on that side of mid.
Okay.
Now it's actually a diggity. It was called, well, the box specifically was called Diggity Box. The reason being is he was playing behind it against the best team in the region at that point in time, which was F-Zero. Managed to clutch out a really important round for them, WCG, to help them get over F-Zero in a, I think it was a WCG qualifier back in the day.
Okay.
Regardless, it became known as Diggity Box because it's a very high risk position in a 2 versus 1. He won it with a silenced USP. So it was a round where he didn't actually have the tools either. So that's why the box is called Diggity Box. And that's why a lot of the older Australian Counter-Strike players, when they were coming through, and you go through, one of the first things you do in every team as you learn a map is get on the same page with the spots. And it's just one of those things that's been passed through the ages.
All right. Okay. Well, I've learned something new. I never actually knew that, Jim. That's a bit Australian insight.
There's some things that we have absolutely no explanation for. I don't know what the current trend is on Inferno as well. Calling Moto Mini, or sorry, Mini Moto. That's strange to me. So there used to be a mini pit on Inferno. It's right next to the library. A lot of people call that Moto now. To me, that's not Moto. Moto is the box that's inside the site, that's wrapped, hard on that left corner as you enter A site.
Yeah.
That's Moto box because, again, player named Moto, pretty huge clutch from that box.
That's quite odd.
But I don't know what the trend is there. This is just me openly ranting now about these things.
Tell me what you don't like, Jim. What? How did they hurt you?
I'm bitter and jaded.
Oh.
I'm bitter and jaded.
Double nades. Great damage. Zilla, Zerts, both load. This is very winnable now for the USPs, and they're still running into the stack. Another kill comes through for Moop. Things are starting to swing the way of the CT side. Look at the HP. They're so low, and it's actually going their way. A 3 versus 1. Calamari. He's going to have to cook up something special for the CT side. He manages to sneak away towards Monster, but the bomb is down in the open. There's no retreat in this situation. He has to take the fights, and he's only allowed them time to set up. He finds the first. Expects a swing, goes up with the Glock, 100 HP. Oh, Moop dodges the bullets expertly, and Downfall take the eco. Oh, Jim, rushing B versus an eco versus the pistols. It's not always the best strategy.
It's a disastrous strategy. And the read from Downfall, it was simple. Just stack B. They didn't do anything special. They faced when they had USPs, but they made sure that they all tried to face at once. And it was a time crisis. That's exactly how it played out for Mako. And unfortunately, they were just shot to pieces. They were picked apart. And I dare say Mako were baited into that.
Got some shark fin soup being made. Getting eaten alive.
It was a burly approach to the anti-eco. I'll give him that.
Yeah, not one I'm behind at all. I think fast plays when you're versus an eco, just you think back to any of the games that we've had in this tournament or generally, and when we see a team versus an eco, especially like Renegades, Chiefs, Order, they're going to play very slow. They're going to play they're going to play defaults, and that's really what we praise, is how cautious that those teams are versus these buys, because you have to give them respect. USPs, sure, they're not going to be the most threatening if you're in a heads-up duel, certainly not on range, but get close and get 2 or 3 opponents to take down, and all of a sudden that becomes a very difficult task for you. Combine that with the fact that rushing in just gives them the ability to do something like that. They had the 2 nades to play around, and they could just chuck them in when they hear the stampede coming, and you're just asking for a loss in that round.
Whoa. 2D, he was expecting that. Didn't hit the shot though. However, this is the matchup that I wanted. I wanted to see him with that AWP. That smoke is such a good progression smoke here, as we do have Downfall. They're going to try and progress all the way through long. It's the SMGs that enter the site who are quickly cut down. And, 2D. One left. It's K-Star. And 2D can't make it work. It's K-Star now in a 2 versus 1. He hasn't cleared the site though, but he will fake plant to bait Savage out. And he's actually going to hit the timer, unfortunately. So he needed to get that plant. Savage was there and did enough to get him off the bomb. And they find their second round downfall despite losing 4 members.
Well, huge work by Downfall coming back into that one. It looked pretty damn close when those players got right up in their face, but delivering shot after shot. And 2D, oh my god, 2D with the op, he's always such a joy to watch. But that smoke, the amount of players that fell because of it, through it, that was an interesting swing back and forth, right? We had a round that was starting to look like in Mako's favor, got pulled to Downfall, then right on back it's a swing. But in the end, that seesaw lands firmly in favor of Downfall with the 2-2 and an eco forced out from their opponents.
It just took too long to get anywhere. That smoke, once it went down, there was 25 seconds left on the clock. And then another 10 seconds until they actually got to the smoke in the site. So 15 seconds left and you're still fighting 3, maybe 4 CTs in the site. You're not going to have a high success rate unless you win those duels quickly. And that's exactly what happened. So Downfall, they just needed to keep numbers alive. And it's exactly what ensued. But we do see a similar setup coming out from the CTs early on. They play a little bit further forward. But as the round progresses, they just back it off into the bomb site. And why not? You've got an AWP that's overwatching things here in A. Oh, shot from 2D onto his opposite number in K-Star. Didn't have an AWP at this time, but just be careful. There's no one else on the site. It's only Moop and 2D, and they've lost that AWP, so this is awkward now. As Moop's managed to pick up an AK, but they're already on this bomb site. So if they get a bomb plant here, minimal investment from the T's, this is a good round.
Oh, already, absolutely. The fact that they've got an AWP as well to maybe get more damage, well, it was set up well. But in the end, it doesn't go their way. Still, bomb plant, 2 kills. They've definitely got a smile on their face coming out of that round. Gonna be going down 3-2, but I think they're like, they've got to be so disappointed. They started this one out 2-0. That was the pistol and the force buy. They came up against an eco, almost full eco. What, P250, 2 nades. I think that was it. And then obviously the saved over armor with the kit and a smoke. And they just got wrecked.
Wasn't very successful. But now Downfall. Their money's starting to build, at least for Savage. That's about it, though. I mean, could find themselves in a bit of trouble if the T's manage to take that bomb plant. Great for them. They give themselves full utility. Interesting, though, not to see that AWP on K-Star. Just opting for a faster, more mobile setup with that rifle. Busy needs to be careful. That's what the CTs are doing early on in the piece, is they're trying to contest areas like stairs, areas like party, throw some smokes, and just slow the T side down. Not let them take territory early on, because that's the problem on this map. On the CT side is if you let the Ts take control of these areas early on without any resistance or chewing up time, they have complete freedom and you have very little information on what they're doing.
You've seen a very aggressive toilets play for Downfall, considering how early on we are in the round, or in the game, excuse me. It's nice to see them, because obviously we don't know their comfort level on this map, and it's nice to see them play with a little bit of confidence. Definitely not the synergy you'd like on that one. Molly in a smoke. Maybe they wanted the smoke to pop really quickly. Maybe that's what it was, Jim. Who knows? Very expensive.
How can we do that? It cost us $600, but we did it.
We got it done. What if they rush us? Oh, never mind. The smoke is down. We're good. But, 3 versus 5. Oh my god, Jimmy! He just runs out on the site, just Jimmy things. That's for damn sure. He's got to line up close, another going his way. Whoa. And Savage is so low. It's an easy trade for Zertz. He needs the bomb to be planted, but it's down in the open. And as he retrieves it, he makes the noise. They know exactly where he is in this 2v1. 12 seconds left as he gets to the site. He's gonna tap it out, go for the fights. They don't go his way, but a hell of a try. And Mako Shark. Well, they got into that round decently. I mean, Jimmy just... That is mental. He's just got to flash over and he runs in.
He was waiting. He's just sat in that smoke, waiting things out. But, I mean, 2D on that site with the AWP, he was caught in a really awkward position There's a great frag actually from Savage to make that, but yeah, they just exploded onto this B bomb site. The two youngsters, Jimmy and Savage, but unfortunately, it was too little, too late for them. It left Zerts in a difficult 2 versus 1, and now you can see they're playing forward here. They actually might be caught out by the T side. They just need to deal with it as Mizzy gets taken down, but Moop's there to try and steady the ship. He's just given up that M4. So there's hope here. They're doing damage on these pistol rounds and taking guns out of the economy. You look at the CT side, they don't have a huge amount of money on the 2 players that just went down. So they're constantly giving up weaponry on these sorts of rounds. They can't continue to do that.
It's just massive blunders really by both teams, and like misreads on what their opponents are buying, or just complete lack of thought going into, or respect even, going into what they're up against. Like in this round, you go for aggressive control of toilets and connector when you're up against pistols. It's not the best of ideas. Very standard pistol strategy is to rush middle and maybe even split through connector as well. And if you're in those positions, you're not going to get on well. You've got to hit your shot straight away. The risk reward doesn't pay off. Now they've got rifles. They're barreling towards these players. 2D's able to grab one. He's got a teammate to support him. So good late round, but it's in the early that the damage has already been done. And then the same for Mako Shark when they're up against an eco and they rush B. It's like you can't play every round like it's a buy round. And I appreciate swapping your strategies up, but there definitely has to be some serious thought put into what you're up against, because sometimes those kind of plays like, hey, aggressive mid control the way they had it, that's fine. It was fine in the round before, but when you do it against pistols, it's just not worth it.
They have taken control of areas like stairs, party, etc. This is what I wanted to see more of. 2D, what's he doing right now? Just upping the ante a little bit more, even grenading onto that tier out. We see Molotovs come through as well into playground and things like that to just stop the Ts. That, in subsequent rounds, really just slows them down. You don't even need to go through all the motions. You throw that smoke onto stairs and next thing you know, you've just slowed the Ts. You've just chewed up 15 to 20 seconds in the round, because then they're going to come around and clear these things out. But look at this push from Licky. I like this. He's getting the information at the B bomb site. Now it's left 2D now to hold things down at this A bomb site. He's the only one here, so he needs to be careful. Doesn't have anyone else overwatching long, but they are going to come in with this flash, so it's go time. That player is sitting right there, ready to go. Zilla, he's flashed in. 2D was there, but he has been knocked over. And this is a great entry series coming out from Zilla. We'll take control of A. Now we'll get this bomb plant, one would expect, as he even aggresses on his own smoke. So it's going to be planted for him. Or are they just trying to bait out the fights here in this 2 versus 2? I think that's exactly what they are going for, but they're just running out of time as those smokes dissipate. So a lot of questions left to be answered. Zilla manages to take another. And he's had a great round, but he needs to do all the work. K-Star's only on 1 HP. They know where Licky is. Is K-Star going to swing? Licky's ready for it, though. However, Zilla completes a fantastic round. 4 for him on the entry to A, and Mako fight their way back. And the economy for CTs is in tatters.
This is a much lower level of Counter-Strike than what we saw from both of these teams before, to be honest. Like, Mako, there's so many problems for them in terms of synergy. I feel like they're not switched on. Let's point out a very obvious thing. They didn't get punished for it, but when a player ran out from playground to long, there was a flash that came through to push the Opera out of party. But it came through after the player had already crossed. Now, it ended up actually making 2D fall back and pulled him out of a position that he was trying to lure. Oh no, the long push. They've spotted them though, so they can back off. No, okay. They're going to keep facing. That's one more player dropped. The other 3 move to B, but the rifle's retrieved now for downfall. That's a pretty big opening to the round. But yeah, it was just like the flash came through too late. The whole point of that is to get the player safe to long, but he could have easily been opt had 2D not have fallen back and been, because he was repositioning. At that moment, he was on his way back up, so he couldn't hit the shot in time. If he was there, and I'm not even exaggerating, 0.2 of a second earlier, he'd be in a spot where he could genuinely just dome this guy. That's a problem. You know, we want to see that synergy down. We want to see them hit the same kind of level. At the moment, just the thing that's really pulling Mako into it is individual performances. When you look at, obviously, that previous round by Zilla, even the B push, right? They lose 2 players straight away, and Jimmy just runs through and pulls them back. Now, they lost the round, but it came very close in the end.
It's just that level of synergy, that level of timing. They're just not quite well oiled enough at the moment. Yeah, you're right. Fundamental mistakes. And I mean, that flash on any other round, I'd back 2D in to make that shot. They go one player down 10 seconds into the round. That's not great.
Yeah.
All because the patience for the flash wasn't there. And against a better team like Renegades, for example, you're going to get punished for that. Those small errors, you're going to get punished for. Whereas against some teams that are similar in level, as we see with Mako and Downfall, they're not getting punished for these things. So they're going to continue to potentially make those mistakes because there's no consequence.
Oh man, the wide swing, and 2D gets 1-2 afterwards, and now he's bailed out of there. The smoke is in play, and across he goes, dodging the bullets on his way, and that's exactly what we were just talking about, Jim. When you give 2D those opportunities, he is going to shut you down most of the time, and right there, he delivers. Even the collateral to start it off, he hit the other player, didn't kill him, but then finished him off afterwards. 5-4
What
with
I
a
like.
2-man advantage, jeez.
What I like is the fact that he's roaming with that AWP too. He's not sitting stationary on that A bomb site. He's done that for a few rounds, but he's taken it to B, to Monster, also to switch things up a little bit. He hasn't really gotten too much more adventurous than that. We haven't seen him in mid-connector, for example, but he's just doing things to make his opposition guess what's going on. They can't really counter that. You really can't counter when you don't know where that AWP's going to be on these rounds.
Definitely, yeah. Mixing it up. Make sure that they're not saying, oh, well, the ops A, so we can, we can dry peak angles down on the B site. Nope. No matter where you go now, you've got to burn utility, and he's really costing them. And they're not burning utility, which is why they're getting just shut down like that. But that's the theory behind it.
They're onto this side. Jimmy, again, the point man, pointing and clicking his way through. Now, needs to be careful here because there is still a player lurking on that side. It's Savage, the youngster. Gets flashed through into short, but I think they're both blind. They are. K-Star is there for the follow-up trade, but they have got no time. And they've been completely shut down. They got into the site. They just missed the plant.
I would love to take K-Star's brain on why he just jumped around that corner with a smoke in his hand, but that's a question for an interview, maybe. Look at this shot. So close to the collat.
And even this, the faster push through mid-connector. We haven't seen a lot of presence from the CTs there on mid-connector, but it is so useful for CTs to have control of mid-connector, though it is a high-risk, high-reward situation. But Mako Shark have shown that they have some explosive power when they get into these situations. They are quite willing to flash themselves through progression smokes and try and cause havoc that way. But I don't know, Downfall just seem to be fragging their way through it. There's some interesting decisions, I will say that. Mako getting onto bomb sites. They've run out of time a few times, and that's surely going to be frustrating them.
You can only imagine. Yeah, I guess when you lose the time, when you end up losing because of the round clock, sometimes you'll see teams adapt to much faster strategies just to avoid that sort of a slow round. At the moment, I think that was almost an attempt by Mako. They wanted to go through long. They got mollied off at the start and now smoked, and you can see 4 players that were just sat outside long waiting for the molly to dissipate back off because of a smoke. A boost up by Mizzy. That's why all that utility is being used down on Monster, so that he could try and find himself that kill up above. He pulled off the angle at just the wrong moment, but he's gone back down pre-fire onto Calamari, but this time it doesn't connect. Mako have shifted position. That's almost exactly what they wanted, was for someone like Callum to go down and just sell that little bit of info, show a bit of tail, and then move on over towards the other side of the map. It's just hightailing it towards this site as the 5 players are going to just push out to A. Thing is, there's been no rotates, right? Downfall are happy to just sit in position at the moment. Moop's got that little passive position on long, try and catch them as they push on through. And this is basically a fake to say that 2D is alone on the site, especially now it's Savage having rotated up. They'll basically just scream at these T's like, hey, we're in position here, it's a 2-man hold. And then Moop just swings in and kills them all. See if this one works out. Oh, God.
I'm here for it. Oh, 2D. Needs to be careful. Calamari gets a cheap one. But Moop is still up and has control of Long, so this is a very awkward situation now for the T's. They need to clear him out. They will take him down. And Savage and Mizzy... Oh, Savage just pushing on through to the site. He's gone for the frag, but K-Star's equal to it. And Mizzy now with the AWP is going to have a difficult shot to make.
God.
But K-Star comes through. Will he be able to pick up the AWP? I don't think he even knew it was there, to be honest. And they come away with a very, very crucial round because that just puts the CT economy on the back foot for this next round.
Well, that's one hell of a way to win out the round as well. Downfall just swinging out in the 2v2, and I appreciate the first kill by Savage, and even the second. I'm not even going to criticize him going for that, because he thought he could either catch the player planting or just coming off the plant. But K-Star was so quick. That's a truly heartbreaking round to lose. Because obviously, like, you look at it objectively, it was a 2v1. Savage could have sat down on Optimus and waited for his teammate. I don't think he should have. I think he made the right play. But that really sucks that they get punished for it. I could start to get in your head a little bit. He's got a rifle for this round, but his teammates only on pistols, and Moop has already fallen. 2D trying to get a sneaky play, but they're being very cautious of it. He might have just timing them on the swap over to the left side. He has! Oh, but he's missing the shots! No, Jim! This Jimmy takes him out. This. Oh, my heart goes out.
Oh, no. That had the potential to cause real upset here, but that Molotov just flushes Licky out of the toilets. And he's going to have to fall back into this site. Flash in. Savage gets the assist on that one. Zertz is completely level, but they've just made the call. Get to B. It is unattended at the moment. So they will get in and get the plant for free. But there's a chance here for Savage and Licky to try and get themselves some exits. Molotov pretty much closes the door on any opportunity, though, for Licky. And Savage, he's already got his M4, so he's good for the next round. It's just to see whether or not Licky can get something out of this. Primarily, though, they will be looking to just save their armor and take that into the next. Even then, the CT economy, I don't think is going to be fantastic into this next round. So they really do need to try and get something, but also make sure that they don't give away what they've currently got.
Considering Mako started this on 2-0 versus an eco on the third, you would imagine that, you know, this scoreline is really not ideal for them. Like, you'd like a little bit more to be built up already. But at 6-6, they've definitely come a ways to recovering the half. If they can manage to pull back up into the lead, grab a 7th round, and even if they finish there, I think they'll be fairly happy. The reality is, you know, Downfall, they're playing okay on the CT side. They're doing well in the buy rounds, but the fact that, obviously, I can't count this round out because they've got pistols and we've seen them win rounds with far less, but obviously, you can see straight away that they're stacked up on A. They're looking for that control while Mako just rushed B. Now, they've made that mistake before versus a worse buy, and they got punished for it, but in this instance, it works out. It's a risk. It really is. But, I guess it's paid off here, so. The thing for me is that I don't know how Downfall are going to play on the T side. Like, we really... I guess we're seeing a certain level of comfort, for sure. Because already they're taking aggressive mid control from the 3rd round. They're in a position where, or from the 4th round, excuse me. They're in a position where I think a lot of their setups have been not just safe, they've been thought through and calculated aggression. And that's what I want to see from a team that is going to go onto the T side on their opponent's map pick that they haven't played before officially.
They're going to need something. They're going to need something a little bit different to what we've seen on this side, but the interesting thing for me was this round, as opposed to the last round that they went B on an anti-eco, aka the 3rd round, the use of utility this time was far better. The fact that they got into B on that 1st round and there was barely any utility used, they thought they could just muscle their way in and picked apart by USPs. You could see the change in heart this time as they And a little bit more convincingly, they had the utility to deal with it. The flashes, the smokes, the molotovs to just flush out all those hidey holes. But now we see 2D back on AWP. And, I mean, Mako, they haven't had K-Star on the AWP. I think they really do enjoy this more mobile option. And also knowing that Downfall don't really overextend themselves too much. They do go for the initial aggression, but then they fall back into the bomb sites. So the opportunity for picking them isn't quite as plentiful as one would expect, but they do utilize mid-connector quite a bit. They take control of that and just make sure that their transition between the two sites is quite smooth. But here we go. Two big duels that could have really opened things up for Mako. Do not go their way. And Zilla's just going to continue to try and force the issue here. He's a long way ahead of his teammate with the bomb in this site. And the utility is just going to assist him somewhat, but you can see they're not facing here Downfall. They just want the crossfires to work. The K-Star is going to try and dismantle it. They know where one is. They are furiously trying to get this man out of Toxic. Savage goes and takes K-Star out of things, and now it's just on Zilla. 1 HP and a dream. 30 seconds, and he is just going to be mopped.
7-7. We're all tied up. And I got to say, in that previous round for Mako, going out for those two duels was a little bit lackluster, right? They've got players that are on their way to the B site. They sent 2 out to try and poke and prod at that CT side, and it really didn't feel necessary. Okay, this first one on Jimmy, he gets pushed, so that's not too bad, but Calamari, he just runs up behind, wants to get aggressive and really sink his teeth into the CT side. When it backfires, you leave your team in such a bad position. Look at that from Mizzy. They thrown their own flash over, so he just peeks through with a nade. He's like, hey guys, how you doing? Nades him up, does a little bit of damage, but not too much. I don't think it really did anything.
He's the 4th BG, just staying alive.
That's unfortunate. And Mook just got shut down. Maybe he did some decent damage to Zerts at least, but as Calamari falls, maybe that damage is going to be more than enough. This means they can't really push the site, right? Zerts doesn't want to go by himself up through short. He groups up a K-Star, and now it's a very two-dimensional push on long. A 2 versus 3 in a spot where a Downfall have got a decent read. This is 2 players coming up towards the site. Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure with the map there for a second, but Licky is staying down towards B, watching cross. I was hoping they weren't just completely abandoning the B site. But it is A. Oh, look at the position by Savage. Easy kill, but he's got to run away from the op, and K-Star swings wide and gets that frag. Smoke down for the plant, and a 1v1. This is Licky's opportunity. He hasn't had a great half so far, but the op is holding him. He's watching the angle, waiting for the peak, and he's baited out. Great work by Licky. Pull him off that angle now. But he doesn't know where he's gone. Oh, what are you doing?
Oh no, that Molotov would have been better used in the post plant. Licky is just smartly using all his utility. Gonna try and bait him off. K-Star's out of bullets and out of time. And Licky just swings like Tarzan, taking the 8th round for Downfall.
Did I miss something there, Jim? Did he tap the bomb? Did I miss the sound cue?
I don't think he did. The smoke was the only thing that went down. I didn't hear a tap.
That was a questionable time to spray with, what, 5 bullets? That was a very odd round. Running out in the open with a knife, then throwing the molly short, and then just spraying out in the open when you run out of ammo, without a fake even going down. I don't even know what just happened. I honestly, I could watch that round back 6 times. I don't think I'd be able to find the train of thought, but I guess that's what happens, the heat of the moment, right? It's not like you're sat there assessing every situation. Very easy for us to say, well, you shouldn't have done that, mate. But when you're in the game, you got to make those decisions in a split second, and it ain't so easy to weigh everything up like that.
It's crazy too, because only a few moments earlier, he was so steadfast with that AWP on the entries into the site.
Yeah.
He was looking confident. He was looking on top of things, but as soon as he went into that 1v1 and switched to the AK, it was like he'd just forgotten how to use a rifle. He didn't really play that one probably to the level that he wanted, and that was to their detriment. I thought that one would have been Downfall's round. Sorry, Mako's round.
Even when it just switches to the 1v1, I think it's a completely different game, really. in your mind at that point for some of these players. The pressure's really on. All your teammates are watching you. You know, when it's a 2 versus 3, it's no pressure. You're in a round you probably shouldn't win. Your teammate's low. It's like, oh, okay, we're probably going to die here. You find those 2 openings. Everybody's hyped. Everyone's like, yes, we've got this. Come on, 1v1. It's all, you've got this, man. And that's when the pressure can really pile on. You could see it in the decision making, the knife out, the molly, the AK spray. Everything that he did was just sheer panic mode. And I think that's it's definitely not what you want in an opera, but it's something that comes with experience in those scenarios in such a tight game as well. You know every round counts. It's a shame, but
yeah, I'm sure.
That's how it goes.
I'm sure he's ruining that. It is how that cookie has indeed crumbled. And as they switch sides here, Zertz becomes investigative in his search through Playground. And I think he is going to pass by the T's. But he might be a very handy flank for them to have here as Zilla takes the head off Mizzy, and they will explode onto this A bomb site, putting pressure onto Optimus. They will take down Jimmy, so at least one claw of the pincer has been taken away, but this fast flank could be a problem here. Licky has spotted that out. They are forced to retreat into long. But Savage is going to be of key position here. He doesn't even get the chance to reposition. Zertz takes him out through the cloud, and Moop has come through and forced a 1 versus 2, but he has got distance and a Glock, and he's trying to get through that smoke here as they stick that bomb. The meat shield tactic surely is going to come out. K-Star will level him, and they take that pistol round. That was furiously fast.
Just like Tom's favorite movie. It was indeed. Swinging on in there. I gotta say, they drifted their way to success. The turbo was activated at just the right time to pull them across that finish line, and I could see Tom on the edge of his seat with that one. Honestly, who doesn't like the Fast and Furious movies? What kind of a scumbag doesn't like the Fast and Furious movies?
To be honest, I only ever really saw 1 and 2. I lost interest after that.
Oh my god, Jim. You know what? Screw you.
My attention just Tokyo drifted away from the series.
Wait, you saw 1 and 2. Wasn't Tokyo Drift was number 3? Have you not seen Tokyo Drift?
I haven't seen Tokyo Drift. No, I saw Too
God.
Fast, Too Furious, and Fast and Furious. Tokyo Drift just didn't interest
Tokyo
me.
Drift is way better, dude. You gotta watch that. You gotta watch Tokyo Drift. It's a banger.
Am I missing out on something that could be compared with one of Beethoven's symphonies? Is that what we're dealing with?
100%. It is a masterpiece.
Okay.
It is perfectly constructed and structured, start to finish. It's a piece of artwork. I think Twitch chat will agree with me here. Tokyo Drift's probably one of it. Shawshank Redemption? Nah, Tokyo Drift, mate. Best movie of all time.
And then by the end of the series, they get more towards the comparison between this and The Usual Suspect.
Oh, look at this. Jimmy up close talking to Usual Suspects, but he's fired away. He's given it all. He's turned himself in. That's unfortunate. On that now into a 4v4. Look, he got a kill. It was good work, but he could have done a little bit more. And he scared them away. They've ran down towards the B site. The CT's now scrambling to get back into position as K-Star is dropped on A. The spray by Zertz gets one with Calamari. They combine like Goku and Vegeta. And now they're coming through. They've got the... Oh my god, what's happening here? Zertz is being jumped on like a Goomba, and he's able to take down Savage. On 28 health, Moop is last alive, and he is moving towards the CT spawn to try and find the kill, but he can't get it done. The timer ticks away, and Mako... that was a Hail Mary of a round.
At that point in time, though, you need to just get into the site and tell Moop he is the one that has to deal with this player. Because Savage has jumped up. He's lost the bomb. It's in dirty water. And, I mean, Mako sharks like dirty water?
Well, I'll be honest, Jim. I don't know the kind of sharks and who occupies what, like salt water. I don't know if dirty water is even a definition. I know heavy water is, but I fear any shark that's in that. And, yeah, I'm not an expert. I'm not an aquatic expert. But either way, evidently these sharks are are big fans of it. It
We
was
call a marine biologist.
we need, what kind of sharks are these? But that was very, very odd decision making. Jumping down with the bomb, I 100% agree. You've got to just commit to it when time is that low. And obviously, Moop was never getting those extra kills. He was never finding the conversion because
No.
they realized they can just tuck away.
You've just got to delegate at that point. You've got the bomb. You've just got to get in and delegate. But K-Star here, he's under duress. And he has been stripped of his scout towards this side. But Jimmy holds strong. He is eventually taken down. They do find that pincer on him, but I don't know. CTC, this is always a tough retake prospect. The utility, they've got one flash. That's it for the retake. And it is on Zilla, and he is in a position where he's got to throw it out of bank. And it's a difficult one to try and make an effective flash work, but the T's aren't aggressing on him, so there might be an opportunity for them to make this work. They are playing very passively. There's a lot of crossfires here to dismantle, and they're just going to go for it. They're going to send it, lick it, stick it, and hope it gets sent. And Zilla, the time is against him. He will try and get out of there. He should be able to get away from that bomb radius. And that is another round for Downfall.
Well, this is certainly panning out to be the close series that we hoped. The only question mark was around this map and how Downfall would be able to play. And I think so far on the T side, they've made less mistakes than Mako did in one respect. When it comes to map-specific mistakes, like rushing B versus an eco kind of thing, but maybe jumping down with the bomb. You could do that on any map. So I wouldn't consider that a map-specific mistake. That's just a silly mistake. But either way, they've managed to find themselves in a position where, with the way the early game economy works, trading back and forth puts the T's in massive favor, and you can see that. And both have got practically no money, but look at the buy for the CT side. The molly is going to force Jimmy out of position or make them use up a smoke, which obviously means more nades are coming. And they don't actually go for the nade into the corner. It's much more passive. Maybe thinking Jimmy would be on his way back over towards the stairs or in the corner down below the stairs. And that could then be a problem. They're being spammed up at the moment. Smoke is now down to allow Jimmy a little bit of maneuverability, and they think the connector's clear. They think the player running up towards the top was actually the entire defense leaving. And so Jimmy's got an opportunity to backstab them. The thing is, I don't think he'll have that read on it. If he stays tucked in position, he might be able to get some work done. A kill on B, though, forces him to move and try to help out on that B attack, which gives away the position, and, well, a big advantage lost.
Yeah, Licky just needs to stay alive as well, because he's got Moop in tow. However, they're not going to be able to transition between anywhere quite quickly unless they take control of this connector. So they are going to force themselves onto B, leave those CTs in connector, and, well, they are met with stiff resistance. The trades go either way. And it's now down to K-Star, who is sounded out by 2D. And that is a difficult situation navigated well by Downfall.
They do lose a lot, that's for sure, but the reality is, for Mako Shark, that was their opportunity to get the round, not to get kills. As they come through with, okay, a decent enough, I suppose, overall. If you think about what they came into the round with, that's a success. The problem is so late on in the game, having to take the eco now gives Downfall that massive advantage to just swing back in. And on a 10-9 scoreline, in what should be 11-9, Downfall have got exactly the buyback that they want. I'd consider this probably about even, like, in terms of chances of closing it out. I don't have my stats open. Tom's going to be very disappointed about that, but... oh no. Oh no, the pistol's up close. If they get that rifle, things could get very dangerous. The molly is down in time.
That is fortunate. They do get away with a Mac 10 though. So if there's one player you want to have with an unconventional weapon, it is Jimmy. And he's taken that Mac 10. So I have a Molotov. And, oh, I think they're just going to go for some damage here. He's taking his time lining that Molotov up. They're going to try and spur themselves in on a timer. And they're going for it here. They're going to try and make this work for them, try and do as much damage as possible. They fancy their chances in the 4 versus 4, but it's quickly cut back to a 2 versus 3. And the C2's there. Jimmy, he's just trying to make that work for himself. This Mac 10 is his friend. Can he find another? No, but he does a world of damage to 2D. And K-Star, what can he get here? Nothing by the looks of it. And that is downfall. Just getting out in time. K-Star goes down to the bomb, so he will take nothing with him into the afterlife, which is now the 21st round.
So, on 11-9, I said I think they'd be roughly even. In fact, the chances of downfall winning are 56%, typically, and that's based on a sample size of 180 games. But here's the difference, right? In the position that they're in, if they lose this round, their money isn't great. They might even just take a mix buy. And so I think we can agree the odds are, if they lose this round, it goes oh no, Zilla! Why? This is such an important round for Mako Sharks. And he pushes up on Fountain with his teammates playing passive. K-Star must have gotten spammed down because he's 22 HP. What? Or maybe naded, actually. What the hell is that? This is such an odd strat by Mako. He gets flashed and no one's there to support or flash back for him. Jimmy, though, he's a lifeline, but a 1v3. And it's, oh, man. This was so huge. Such an important round. He might be... What? They're like 20 HP. Shut down 4. Stop it. Stop it. This is unreasonable. Jimmy is a monster. And now Missy on 11 health. This is such a good round for Mako Sharks. Such an important one. They need this round win. I'm losing my mind, Jim.
The flank. Missy's gone and double back around from long. And I think Jimmy might have cottoned onto this. Mitch, this is falling apart.
I'm actually so stressed right now. This is unbelievable. He's checking the right angle. He spotted him out. This has to be the headshot connected by Mizzy. He's already got 2 kills in the round, but he's so low, and he picks up the bomb. He's right next to... He didn't take any damage in those first 4 kills. He was 100 health, Jim. No, he was 100 health at the end of the round as well. That's ridiculous.
My goodness. I don't even know what to make of that. He's just taken the fights. He's won all the duels. And this is... I mean, right now... 19 frags. He's performing. Look at those stats. He's only got 5 kills with the M4. And they came in that round. Oh, that is crazy for me.
Unreasonable. Absolutely unreasonable. 11-10. And Jim, the point I was going to make before Jimmy decided to just completely blow my mind was that at 11-9, it was about even 56% chance of downfall closing it. But if they go down 11-11, it turns to 37%. And obviously you can see this is a mixed buy round that they've invested heavily into. So if they lose this, it's probably 12-11 in favor of Mako, which is a 24% chance. Like they had it slightly in their favor, and that one round was what they needed to convert it over into a very strong half and a very strong probability of closing out this map. That was a swing round right there, both mentally because Jimmy's just 1v5'd them, but also statistically. And if Jimmy caught that bomb off, I don't even know. I think Downfall would have just quit the server.
K-Star. He had no idea what was going on. But here we go. Jimmy again. They're going to try and face him. I don't know if that's a great idea. He's held position at the moment. And they're going to try and double swing here. I don't know if you can get away with that on Jimmy. He's just taking his fights, taking his peeks. He's found one. And he knows where the second is. So he's just happy to sit in the Molotov and take the frag. Savage is going to be scratching his head. But they now have info on where 2D is. And the time is out. And that is another round. Jimmy is also really good at wasting time. He's like a wristwatch in a bum bag.
What's going on, Jim? This is one hell of a game. One hell of a game. And Jimmy, this guy needs to stop. Honestly, I'm gonna have a meltdown if he keeps this kind of performance up. We mentioned him. I highlighted him. I said he was the player I needed to step up from Mako Sharks if they were going to take down Downfall. And that the fact that we were favoring Downfall so much might just be recency bias because it had been a little bit since we'd seen Mako. And my God, he has delivered far beyond what I thought was possible for one human being. Never mind what I thought he would deliver. His past few rounds been some of the best Counter-Strike I've seen him play. I've seen in this region as well, individually.
It's just, I don't know. It
Sorry,
doesn't
Jim.
really matter what weapon he has either. That's the thing.
Yeah, they've given him a FAMAS. That's what I was going to point out. Like, he's just delivered a 1v5, an ace, and then shut them down again. And you're giving him the weakest weapon. What is that? I'm sure he's probably saying, "Oh, I'll just use the FAMAS, boys. Don't worry." But I'd be giving that man my AK.
He's a handyman. There's nothing he can't use. Now, this is an interesting crossfire here, Zerts. That is a big risk. Doesn't even get traded. There's no one even helping him. Calamari now needs to be careful. He is taken down as well, and they're going to make this force fire work. Minimal utility as well into this site, but it gets the job done. And Zilla's here. And see, you can get into this bomb site and try and keep them cordoned off and get that plant. There's no need to jump over the barrier and try and take them out, but Savage, he makes amends now, and Downfall just pull themselves ahead. The problem is for Mako, they cannot be relying on one player heavily to bring them back into this. There needs to be some other players stepping up. I mean, Zerts, I feel as though he gave away his life a little bit too easily in that round. It wasn't really a great position to be playing, particularly with Callum Murray so far away from him.
I could see Jimmy coming in for that one. I was scared. I was afraid when he had that FAMAS. 4 players left alive. I'm like, here we go again. A GTA meme. Oh. So, look, the reality is, though, you can see Downfall are definitely still looking pretty good. The rounds they've lost have been on the back of massive individual step-ups. And as good as Jimmy is, you just can't rely on that every single time. We need to see a bigger step up from Mako Sharks. And at the moment, you know, just on pistols, you don't expect much from them. They're trading back, though. Oh, the wide swing by Calamari. And he's looking to get cooking and take some of these guys down. But they realize at this point, someone came down con, Callum pushed short, and they saw one monster. It's a heavy stack on B, and they start to rotate to the A site. But they're not the only ones. Mako Shark made a very quick read as well. In fact, they made a prediction because they've started to move towards the A site before even Downfall thought about it. Moop's got a lot of control, but what he doesn't know is all these players have just crept up into position. And with this long push, they're going to run right into these pistols. This could be so dangerous.
This is a good read coming out from Mako. Now, Zilla needs to be careful, but I feel as though there's just going to be this pop flash thrown. He's going to be taken out. It's actually going to go too deep for him. He's got himself in a far more advanced position, but he's not immune to the flashes. And now they are just piling their way in. It is a stacks on in A. And it is just left Callum with a deagle and a dream. And maybe just the prospect of picking up something for himself into the next round. That's about it. That's all that's going to be on offer. But I think he's about to be peaked here. And Savage does not make any mistake.
Been one hell of a game so far, Jim. It's been back and forth. It has been messy at times. But some of the individual performances we've seen, oh my. It outshone. I think Jimmy is honestly so damn solid. I'm glad we gave him the credit in the pre-show to say he was a player that could step it up. But again, it comes back to that point. You know, Downfall do feel like the better team, certainly in the games that we saw. Obviously, Mako did well versus Paradox, but even then, Paradox were not really firing on all cylinders. And this is basically full eco. There's a couple upgraded pistols is all they've gone for, and a nice little spray down by Mizzy shuts most of the threat out. Again, you see some of the problems. Like that flash came in very, very late. I suppose if extra players swung on the corner, it would have helped on his retreat, but Moop pushing up on the site, couldn't have been traded. He was very far ahead of his teammate. 2D was a good 2 seconds behind him. And so another little issue. And it's just these tiny, and maybe I'm being a little bit overly critical on that, but it's just these tiny little issues that versus a team like Mako, okay, you're not being punished, but when you play Order, when you play Renegades, when you play Chiefs, that's when you're going to get punished for these kind of mistakes.
Precisely. That is going to be the issue, and it's easier to try and address these things now than let them become bad habits, let them creep up on you. So, Jimmy, it's not actually planted for the CTs, so that could have been some trouble. He's going to take a 1-2 with him. He might even be able to get away. Nope, he's not even interested in that.
Just, can we just... What the hell is Jimmy eating for breakfast? Can we get quick info on that?
How many different weapons has he gotten kills with across this competition?
Everything. Just he needs a knife kill to complete the set at this point.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous. Like, the second guy was low, but still, he's just so clean in how he gets these kills. And so, like we mentioned, obviously, it was a K-Star in the 1v1, the panic set in, you know, he really didn't feel comfortable. But Jimmy in that 1v5, he was fine. He was thinking the whole time. He realized the flank was coming through right there. Takes one short, swings, takes the other. It's just gorgeous. K-Star, man, he's just hit Mizzy and Licky. Connected both shots. I think it was through the wall, but still, look how low they are. Oh, a nade returned.
Oh, that was winding up to be something much better than I thought it was.
Oh, 20 damage.
Yeah. It's like when you go to those skill testers, they test your strength or whatever it is, and you're winding up for the biggest shot.
Oh, yeah.
You put all your might into it, and you score 20 out of 200.
Yeah, it's like the 7-year-old that did it before you got like 30, and you just stood there embarrassed.
As a grown adult.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of adult embarrassment for us. That Molotov, though, that's put a real stopper in the plans of Downfall. They're all putting their eggs in the long basket.
Well, it looks like they're starting to crack a little bit. They might have dropped that basket, and you'll see why you don't usually do that. They're making a lot of noise as well. Okay, the shot is missed to start it off, but they can just trade at this point. You would imagine 2D looking to pull a Jimmy on this one. Behind Optimus is one player lurk, and 2D gets the chances. Oh, man. That could have been gorgeous, the spray transfer attempt, but not connecting the first kill or the second. It's 14-12 as Mako Shark climb on up back into the game. They're looking a little bit better in that round.
It's like, man, he was just 5 frags short of a 1v5.
I like the prediction, though, because he hadn't actually seen the player Optimus, right? But he was so confident that there was someone there that he realized he was being baited. So he had a read on the play. It was just the shots that were not connected, which is, you know, the most important part, but still.
Whereas you compare that with Jimmy, for example, and he's hitting shots, he's connecting, he's more connected than Lego, some would say.
You know, I'll always have PTSD when I see those short mollies being thrown. So the one that we saw was just for the players coming out of spawn, but there's one for playground. And I remember watching back a VOD of Navi. I remember seeing Electronic throw that 15 times. Well, I think it was something like 10 times and miss every single time. He obviously didn't know it was missing. And they didn't get caught by it, but like if someone had just rushed playground, I think they would have been like, how do you get through the molly? It's like, there was none.
It's... You don't know either until you go back and watch the review. Can't quite find all of them, but he does enough damage to enable Callum to find the third, and 2D is giving himself away that sound tick. He has to retreat. He takes some damage for it, and it's all on to Moop, who cannot connect. Oh, 2D, he makes a meal of that, and Downfall just let Mako Shark back in.
The door is wide open, Jim. And for Downfall of 14-13, things are not looking too good. They're starting to fall apart a little bit. And this is where I think that Mako have probably pulled themselves right back by their bootstraps into the game, and I think it's only hammered home by the money. You take a look at how much cash is left over on the T side, and these doesn't look too good, Jim, does it? This is realistic. Oh, they're dropping over AKs. Yeah, they can get an okay investment into 3 AKs alongside 4, actually, Savage Invest. So never mind. They had it's stacked up. So it's able to work out with Savage dropping.
I'm glad they took the tack time out as well to just talk that through. I think otherwise, if you don't, that's such a huge rush, because you talk about the buy, but not what you're actually doing in the round.
Yeah, 100%. In a round like that, especially because you need to coordinate so much. Get the calculators out.
Oh, that second Molotov doesn't find its target, so electronic-esque, if you want to call it.
Oh no, I'm gonna get an angry message from him now if this catches on.
Maybe an electronic mail.
Oh,
sternly worded.
God damn it, Jim. Now the by the way, yeah, actually at 14-13 they have now lost favor. It's switched over to a 47% chance of victory for Downfall. And that's not considering the buy that they're on. Mook, at least he's the one to fall, right? He just ran and jumped around that corner with a deagle in hand, but look how much damage they've taken in that fight. Traded into a 4v4, sure, but with Savage and 2D so easily dropped, and down goes Mizzy to a headshot. This is not looking all too pretty.
Oh, Licky just popping up and down like a whack-a-mole, and Calamari eventually clips his wings. Now 2 versus 2. They're going to try and find some cover on the side of this APC. K-Star still holding that line. Smoke actually ensures some safe crosses into the site, but bomb goes down, and they're going to likely have to try and fight this one out because the CTs are right there. There's no repositioning coming through either. So, interestingly, they did not opt for a boost or anything like that over. They're just going to try and take this away. They do have a smoke, though, so Calamari can at least try and provide some cover here. And they need to be quick onto that bomb to give themselves as much time as possible. It is ticking away here. Savage, he finds Calamari. And now it's just K-Star here in the 1 versus 1 and 1 versus 2, sorry. And he is just sprayed away through the smoke. Downfall, the resurgence is getting the team across the line at the right time. And Mako Shark, the CT economy is still good enough for a buy. I don't know about this one. How do you feel about Jimmy on a Mag 7? Stop me if you've heard this one before.
Well, we'll see what else he can do. The man is a literal legend. At this point, K-Star, though, looking for the opening. He's got a peek and he's got a shot. 2D falls straight away. Bomb dropped in the open. It is retrievable, especially with the smoke down, but a fantastic start to the round for Mako Shark. They need it as well. With all the weaker weaponry that they've got in play, this is a lifeline to keep them alive. His Downfall. Retrieve the bomb. They move towards the A site, gaining long control. Utility being thrown out. They're getting loud. Jennifer Lopez up in here, but it's also got control down towards the B side as well. Tucked away on short. Also, what a banger of a song. This is one of my favorite songs.
I wonder if she's still Jenny from the block. Has she changed a little or a lot? Questions. I have many questions.
I love the wind up to that song. Like, it's so good.
Hey.
Here we go. Oh, tuned in. Dialed in, ready for kill, but they're just creeping along right down below. Look, they're gonna pop up. No, it's gonna be a swing to the left. K-Star completely caught off guard by that. The op dropped, and now it's just down to pistols to hold this site. One though, tucked away in the smoke. Zertz comes through, but he can't exert himself into that round, unfortunately, as it's all down to Jimmy and retaken with a Mag 7. Surely even this is beyond him.
Grenade. Needed to get a better result here. He's just going to try the death from above approach. I think he's going to be cut short here, though. They are just playing with him now, playing with their food. Interestingly, the food is a shark. As he now picks up an orb. And this is just going to fade away from him. Mako Shark. They go down to Downfall. And Downfall find themselves